Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barson News. It is May 2nd, 2024. In the chosen one for the pivot position is Joshua Kimmich. Also, both Xavi and Deco are counting on Joao Cancelo for next season. And finally, Marco Verratti has offered himself to the club. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and as I've mentioned many times before, I'm currently out of town on vacation. That is why I'm bringing you this short live video in order to keep you up to date on all the Barcelona news. This is not a podcast, so I won't be reading the chat section or your comments out loud. This is just a way to keep you up to date on all the Barca news in the live format since I am away from my studio and I can't be editing and uploading videos. Anyways, having said all of that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Now, let's begin with the news because it's reported that Xavi Hernandez has chosen Joshua Kimmich as Barcelona's next pivot. Now, we know that Barcelona's number one priority for this summer transfer market will be to sign a midfielder for the pivot position. It's looking more and more likely that Joshua Kimmich will be leaving Bayern Munich this summer. This actually has been confirmed by many sources. And Joshua Kimmich has been someone that the club have tracked for quite some time and someone that Xavi really likes a lot. So given that Barcelona will be looking for a pivot this summer, and given that Kimmich will most likely be available this summer as well, it's reported that Xavi has chosen Joshua Kimmich to be Barcelona's next pivot. Now, it's reported that Bayern Munich will ask for around 30 to 35 million euros for the German midfielder. And given that Barcelona need to sell players in order to sign new ones, they are now trying to explain to Xavi Hernandez that if he wants Joshua Kimmich, the club will get the player for him. However, an important sale will have to be made. And this is the same situation as Bernardo Silva, something I talked about, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where Xavi would like to have Bernardo Silva. However, the club are trying to make him see that if Bernardo Silva needs to come to the club, a big player needs to leave, someone like Araujo, maybe Frankie de Jong. Well, this is the same situation where Xavi has chosen Joshua Kimmich, but in order for Barcelona to sign Joshua Kimmich, they will have to make a big sale, someone like Araujo, Frankie de Jong, maybe even Rafinha. So Xavi will have to choose on whether does he want to keep all his current players and then reinforce the squad with some low-cost option, or whether reinforce the squad with some heavyweights, but having to get rid of some of the club's heavyweights as well. Now, by the way, Joshua Kimmich is German. I'm bringing this up because I've been seeing a lot of comments. Xavi prefers Spanish players. Xavi prefers Spanish players. And I'm kind of getting tired of writing the same reply over and over again. But I think we need to stop with that silliness. Xavi does not prefer Spanish players. 8 out of the 11 starters are not Spanish. There's absolutely no basis to say that. I'm not a Xavi fan. I think it's a mistake that we're keeping Xavi. But there's plenty of reasons to criticize Xavi. One of them is not that he prefers Spanish players. That's absolutely silly. Ter Stegen is German, Araujo's Uruguayan, Cancelo's Portuguese, Kunde is French, Christensen is Danish, Frankie is Dutch, Gundogan is German and Turkish, Rafinha is Brazilian, Lewandowski is Polish. Let's stop with the silliness saying Xavi prefers Spanish players. There's absolutely no truth to that. One of the biggest complaints that everybody keeps bringing up is that Xavi continues to rely on Lewandowski, and guess what? Lewandowski is not Spanish, he's Polish. But anyways, I'm bringing this up because I've been constantly seeing his comments that I constantly have to answer the same way. But let's stop with the foolishness. Xavi does not prefer Spanish players. There are plenty of things wrong with Xavi. That's not one of them. Anyway, speaking of another player that Xavi prefers who also is not Spanish, let's talk about Joao Cancelo, because it's reported that Xavi and Deco both trust the Portuguese, yes, Portuguese, not Spanish, fullback. Now, it seems that Xavi Hernandez would like to count on Joao Cancelo next season. It seems that Deco is in agreement with Xavi Hernandez and would also like to count on Joao Cancelo for next season. And as such, the club will want to look for a way to keep Joao Cancelo at the club. The problem is Manchester City want to sell or want to permanently transfer Joao Cancelo this summer. They want around 30 to 35 million euros for the Portuguese fullback. And of course, Barcelona cannot afford to pay that. So what's going to be Barcelona's solution is that they're going to try to ask for another one loan season, which is going to be, again, difficult because Manchester City, they want to get rid of them. They don't want to loan them out again. They loaned them out to Bayern. They loaned them out to us. They're done with loaning. They want to offload him on a permanent basis. Barcelona cannot afford to buy him on a permanent basis. But nonetheless, the club will still try to reach an agreement with Manchester City for another loan for the Portuguese fullback. Of course, we do have the benefit that Pep Guardiola simply does not want Cancelo back at the club. So that's something positive for Barcelona. We'll have to see. I personally think it's a mistake. I was initially on the fence about Joao Cancelo. After the many mishaps in his most recent matches, I've said it's not worth spending the money on him. But it looks like Xavi and Deco think otherwise. So I'm very curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you think about keeping Joao Cancelo for another season? Let me know down below. Now, more news because Marco Verratti has offered himself to Barcelona. Now, the 32-year-old midfielder left PSG in order to join the Qatari League. More specifically, the club, I think it's called Al Arabi. It seems that Verratti is not happy in the Qatari League, and now he's looking to come back to Europe. And he knows that Barcelona are in desperate need of a pivot. He knows that Barcelona's number one priority for the summer is a pivot. And therefore, Verratti has reportedly offered himself to the club. Now, before you lose your minds, don't worry. Barcelona are not considering this option, or at least at the moment, they're not considering this option. The player simply has offered himself. This doesn't mean that Barcelona want to do this. Doesn't mean that Barcelona are interested in this. And doesn't mean Barcelona are tracking Verratti. Not at all. You know, any player could offer himself to Barcelona. Doesn't mean that Barcelona would consider it. I can offer myself to Barcelona tomorrow. Doesn't mean that Barcelona would consider signing me. This is just Verratti wanting to get out of Qatar, come back to Europe, and therefore he's offering himself to Barcelona. Now, it's an absolute shame what's happening with Verratti. I think he's a midfielder that is incredibly talented, but simply, in the most recent year was not disciplined. He constantly liked to party, drink, even smoke. He is not in the best shape of his life. Even if he was, he's coming back from Qatar, he's gonna be way below form or a form that is required in the European League. So of course, I don't think this is an option that should ever be considered. Which again, the club is not considering. This is just the player offering himself to Barcelona. But I thought it was a pretty interesting news, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. Anyways, that is all the news for today. I already uploaded a video earlier today, or like 10 minutes ago. Make sure you check it out. News about Eddie Garcia, Dest, and Vitor Roque. This is all the news for tonight. I will see you guys tomorrow, Friday. By Saturday, I should be back home. Already tired. I'm having a lot of fun, but I'm already tired. I can't wait to get back home and go back to my regular scheduled videos. Anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. And as always, peace, guys.